What it is, what it is, what it is, what it is. It's your boy, Mr. OKL, coming back at y'all again. Once again, once again, once again, once again. Shout out to the motherfucking people, man. I've been very, very busy on my purpose, man. Very, very busy on my purpose. I definitely got more content coming for you guys. I promise to God, like it's nothing but exclusive things I got going on for the people. But most of all, man, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be here. I'm happy that you guys are in the building. And let's get right on into it, man. Shout out to the motherfucking people. First off, I gotta shout out my brother XL Pro. That's number one, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the people that's, you know what I'm saying, that's really doing the work and showing support. I have to make sure that they get recognized. And XL Pro is one of them. Okay. It's definitely a few other people, such as Mr. Goodbread, such as Zilla, such as Killer Kawabo, such as you know, even Jalen Breezy at points. Like I could go on and on, man. I appreciate everybody for just making the channel, making the righteous fair, making what we got going on possible. You understand what I'm saying? So we back in the building, we back in the motherfucking building, we back in the motherfucking building. And as y'all can see today, as y'all can see today, we back at y'all with another whole phase video. And I'm pretty sure y'all know Mr. OKL is when it comes to the whole phase videos, like I love them. All right, I love to break them down. I love to let y'all know what's going on, etc., etc. So the video is called today 304 Phase Explained, and also are modern women trying to justify their sexuality. All right, that's what it's called. That's what it's called. That's what it's called. But without further ado, I want y'all to know that I want you to hit that like button, hit that subscription button, hit that notification bell, and let's get right on into the video. All right, we're gonna get right on into it. Okay. All right. So as y'all can see here, Adam asked Kristen Hancher, and y'all look her up. Y'all do the research on this 304. He asked her if she's ever had a hoe phase. Now she's gonna try to play games in the beginning, trying to explain this and explain that. Um, but this is a great example of a 304. Now, a lot of us would say this is a bad B, a bad, BITC. You know what? A lot of men would simp for her by her foot pictures and all that case. But she's explaining and describing what the 304 lifestyle is really about. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get right on into it, guys.
I feel like I'm very mentally unstable when it comes to like being single.
Being single is chaos.
I feel like I'm very mentally unstable when it comes to like being single.
Being single is chaos.
It's not good. It's not good for me.
You could meet someone and all of a sudden it's like this is just occupying all your time. You're going on dates with this person and shit. And it's like for me right now, just being in a relationship, having a kid, I just have a structure to my life where
Exactly.
if I could meet a girl and all of a sudden it's like, no, I got to go out tonight. I got to like go take this girl to dinner and shit. It's just like, it makes your life so much more chaotic. That's what I love about being in a relationship.
That. Like, that's not why I get stressed out. It's
Right.
personally for me, it's just I feel like, and this might need therapy, but I feel like I'm not stable and I'm not planted and
Right.
in life when I don't have a second half with me, or I don't have someone
I like, whenever a woman says she feels like, or she feel, it depends, or whatever the case may be. What they're saying is, I know what is supposed to be going on, but I'm just gonna go with what's not supposed to be going on. So I'm gonna leave it as a feeling. I'm gonna leave it as an option. I'm gonna leave it as something I can see in the future, which is why she's as a 304 with options. No matter what, she still, has a desire to have somebody by her side, or have some type of fulfillment. And the only thing that can fulfill these 304s, these women, biologically, is a man. Of course, it depends on what type of man that is, but that's a deeper conversation. Let's get right on into it, guys.
and this might need therapy, but I feel like I'm not stable and I'm not planted and
Right.
in life when I don't have a second half with me, or I don't have someone I can lean on 24/7, especially when I'm in a relationship. Like, I want them to move in immediately. I want them here by my side. Like, I
Mm,
want them to know everything about me, and that's just who I am as a person. I just like need that other person. And
right.
whether it be like a friendship or a relationship, I always need that second person, which might not be good because I haven't really
Right.
experienced independence in a way that I should.
Yeah, because through looking at your career, it's kind of like, oh, it doesn't seem like she's been very single for very long. It's like
No,
you seem like
it's
you,
always one long-term
right.
relationship to another long-term
You never
relationship.
really had like a hoe phase. It's mostly just been relationships.
Whenever I'm single, I have a very fast, very abundant hoe phase. Yes.
What I need you guys to know is whenever a woman says, whenever I'm single, that's when I have my whole face. Don't, take that serious. She's just a whole period. Trick Daddy said it best. You can't turn a hoe to a housewife. You gotta let a hoe be a hoe, you know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what it is. So this is why I wanted to open it up with this attractive woman, because a lot of people are going to wife this girl up not knowing that she's a hoe. They're going to wife her up not knowing she's going through her hoe phase. Hence why I said she claims when she's single, she goes through a quick hoe phase. Let's run it back real quick, guys. We got to break it down, okay? We can't have our men out here thinking that these females are for them when they're not for them. Okay.
Person, which might not be good because I haven't really
Right.
experienced independence in a way that I should.
Yeah, because through looking at your career, it's kind of like, oh, it doesn't seem like she's been very single for very long. It's like
No,
you seem like
it's
you,
always one long-term
right.
relationship to another long-term
You never
relationship.
really had like a hoe phase. It's mostly just been relationships.
Whenever I'm single, I have a very fast, very abundant hoe phase. Yes.
But then you just one of the guys just like,
Well,
I like
yeah.
you,
Well, I
marry
think
me.
the reason why
I need you guys to know that, okay? That's a very, very significant point. Whenever she's single, she goes through a very fast, very vast whole phase. So it's like, don't meet a girl like, you ever met a girl who just went through a breakup and she keeps talking about her ex, she keeps talking about her past trauma, she keeps telling you that she just went through a breakup. Just understand that she's going through a whole phase. So it's not necessarily you fulfilling what she wants in the sense of what she's going to reciprocate towards you. She's just doing everything she can to get through her trauma, which is what they call a whole phase, because they allow other men to fill in certain voids, but they still have trauma. So maybe this guy might have money, maybe this guy might have a car, maybe this guy might have a house, maybe this guy might feed her, maybe she met this guy at the club, maybe this guy invites her to yacht parties. This is what she does as she's a single person. So don't think because she just left somebody and you just locked in with her that she's not a hoe, not a 304. Just understand that, okay? I'm not lying to you guys. I'm not, look, they're the ones breaking it down. Like, real talk. I'm not breaking it down. These women are telling you this verbatim.
that second person, which might not be good because I haven't really
Right.
experienced independence in a way that I should.
Yeah, because through looking at your career, it's kind of like, oh, it doesn't seem like she's been very single for very long. It's like
No,
you seem like
it's
you,
always one long-term
right.
relationship to another long-term
You
relationship.
never really had like a hoe phase. It's mostly just been relationships.
Whenever I'm single, I have a very fast, very abundant hoe phase. Yes.
But then you just one guy just like,
Well,
I like
yeah.
you,
Well, I
marry
think
me.
the reason why I have a hoe phase per se is to get in a relationship as soon as possible with the next guy that comes along that I can see a possible future with. I
Right.
feel like that's why I have a hoe phase all.
And that's a very, very key point, guys. What they do, it's called hypergamy, okay? So in their delusional mind, they try to replace, instead of going through therapy, instead of fixing themselves, they try to replace what they've fucked up which is to say that they've dealt with someone who they knew wasn't going to have a prolonged future with them, and they try to replace that, replicate it with someone else who is on that same status, which is why they like to go on the hot girl summers. They like to go on dates with high quality men. They don't like the quote unquote suitable men, and you have to meet them at a certain status, okay? And what they don't know is it runs them into a brick wall, not the wall that they hit when they grow up yet, but it does run into a brick wall because they don't understand it lowers their options. So they have to continually they have to keep having sex with these same men they claim they desire, keep friend zoning the guys that they don't desire, and the cycle repeats itself until they find themselves in the whole phase again. See, she claims that she was in a relationship, whatever the case may be, but what we what men see is a full whole stage. What men see is you've dealt with multiple men and you weren't able to lock one down, and you're claiming that in between those guys, you went through a drastic whole phase. Uh, so what that what that tells me is you've been used up. It's like going to a car dealership and it has 100,000 miles, but the mechanic is trying to tell me it's gonna run as if it doesn't have 100,000 miles. Like I'm looking at the speedometer, it has 100,000 miles. I need to know the Carfax. And once I do know the Carfax, depending on who I am, I don't want to deal with this type of woman. Pay very close attention, guys.
Yes.
But then you just one of the guys is like,
Well,
I like
yeah.
you.
Well, I
Marry
think
me.
the reason why I have a hoe phase per se is to get in a relationship as soon as possible with the next guy that comes along that I can see a possible future with. I
Right.
feel like that's why I have a hoe phase. Also, like, just feel like, yeah, I'm like the shit. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Live it up a little bit so
Yeah,
that
a
in your
little bit.
head you're like, oh look, I did the single thing,
Yeah,
but
but I
now I'm in a
also feel like
relationship.
that's unhealthy for me. Like whenever I'm in my single phase, I feel like I'm at my lowest because I'm
Mm.
going out to clubs every fucking night. I'm getting very drunk every night. It's not good. It's not even like
Not that you should be single, but if you did find yourself single, you might
yeah.
want to try like a healthier version
Pay
of being single where you
attention.
don't go out and get wasted every night. Because I'm sure that exists.
It's bad. Like I feel
You have no
like
faith in
it's
yourself.
bad. I feel like if I was in my single phase right here, right now, I'd be the exact same, which is really sad to say.
Hmm.
I feel like in the future things would be different.
I hate being single because it's like if I'm single, then it's like I feel like I have to go out. I have to go to the club. I have to
Yeah.
do these things because what am I just going to be single forever?
Yeah,
Are you
right.
never going to meet another?
See, I'm gonna call out Adam 22 here because we're not women, all right. A man in his single phase, or even a man in his high status, has nothing to do with a woman who is just pretty. That woman is the same status as you. You had to work for that. You had to gain followers. You had to gain status, etc., etc. That woman just has to look pretty, and she's still explaining it like she's tired of it. She doesn't want to see a future of herself. Keep getting drunk, keep turning up, keep dealing with these different men. You get what I'm saying? Like she doesn't like that. Whereas a man is like we're built for that. We can rock with that all day, all night. But I get what he's doing because he has her on his podcast, and maybe it's just an exposure thing. XL Process majority single today, especially young women. Majority are single today, and it's by choice. XL Pro, and it she explained it wonderfully. Okay, they like that that exploration stage where they can act like, oh, because I'm single and I can just replace you, somebody else is going to want to have sex with me. They make it seem like that's a glorious thing, so they continuously do it. They keep on having sex with higher status men, or even lower status men, or just men that they feel like is in their field, but not realizing that it just adds on to their body count. Some of the men they get into long term relationships with, other men they don't get into relationship with, and it's just simply they're just having sex with the guy. Okay, it's not the same. 100% not the same.
Other girl,
Exactly.
and
Or
you could be in the DMs and stuff, but I also like a big part of my head is like you have to meet people
people.
organically.
You have
Like
to
you
go
have to be able
out.
to do that. That's
Yeah,
like who you
it's
are as a
weird.
man, is you have to be able to go to the bar and like strike up a conversation with someone and get her number, you know?
That's like me. Like, I feel like if I go out,
Yeah.
like I just like I need to. I don't know. It's gonna sound really.
It must be
fucked up.
overwhelming.
It's fucked up,
Yeah.
but like I just feel like I need to go and like hook up with someone just to make sure I have that ego still. It's
Mm.
really fucked up to say, but like that's the truth.
See what
Like
I'm saying,
it's so
guys? See
weird.
what I'm
It's a
saying?
lot of clutter in your life, you know?
Oh, it's a lot. And I'm glad I'm really like settling down now. Like
How long has this relationship been going on?
2 years, but we're trying to get married next year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I saw you on the Logan Paul thing and you were
Yeah.
trying to be hush hush about your relationship, but this one is all over Instagram
I
and
mean,
stuff.
when I was on Impulsive, the whole Andrew relationship that was already done.
Right.
And I was talking about how he kind of like ruined my fucking life because I feel like every ex or significant person I've had in my life has really fucked me over, and maybe I'm really bad at choosing.
Right.
Um, and I'll
Like one thing I want y'all to understand about a 304 is that she's always gonna blame her past like ex that they fucked her over. She didn't do anything wrong, guys. Nothing was wrong with her. She didn't, she didn't mess up. She wasn't toxic or anything. It was all of them. All of the joysticks she jumped on. Something was wrong with it. Okay? That's like a car with 100,000 miles on it, and something was wrong with the driver, not the car. All right, cool. That means that car is still incompetent because the driver didn't take care of it correctly. Like it still renders you. We don't need to deal with you. I want you guys to, and I started with her because I want y'all to look at this attractive woman, and I want y'all to see how the 304 nature is not deviated from either them or even other women who are not as attractive as this young lady right here, who is about to get married. Uh, okay.
Andrew relationship that was already done.
Right.
And I was talking about how he kind of like ruined my fucking life because I feel like every ex or significant person I've had in my life has really fucked me over, and maybe I'm really bad at choosing.
Right.
um and I'm a very unbiased person even when it comes to myself,
Mhm.
but it was not my fault, and
Right.
I stand by that 100%. Yeah, he tried to do all this like fuck shit to me, but and
Right.
he did a lot of fuck shit to me in our relationship, and I'm so glad I got out of that because like when I got my first apartment when I
No,
was 16, it was with him.
no accountability whatsoever. Okay, it's all. She could say all that she want, but it wasn't her fault. Okay, pretty privilege, y'all. Pretty privilege. Pay attention to these 304.
Oh, so you were in a relationship this long?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He never had a job, by the way. So all on me.
Really?
Moved to LA with him, right? All on me. He was abusive sexually, verbally, physically,
Right.
everything down the line. He had schizophrenia. He would go and say he's gonna kill all these people.
It's always something wrong with the men that they're with. But why did you pick that type of guy? Okay? And these 304s, all they do is continually make it seem as though n- men are 100% evil. That's why they have the nature that they do have. Shout out to World Class in the goddamn building. He says, "What the hell? Absolutely, man. Like, we not done yet. We're going to expose these 304s today, and we need these men to understand their nature." Okay? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's kind of run it back a little bit. Okay.
All on me. He was abusive sexually, verbally. Was with him.
Oh, so you were in a relationship this long?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He never had a job, by the way. So all on me.
Really?
Moved to LA with him, right? All on me. He was abusive sexually, verbally, physically,
Right.
everything down the line. He had schizophrenia. He would go and say he's gonna kill all these people.
So let me just get this straight. He was abusive sexually, physically. He had schizophrenia. Like, so what attracted you to him? What attracted to you to this guy that was absolutely 100% obviously crazy? Someone with schizophrenia can't hide it in the beginning. Did he develop it through the relationship? See, this is what I'm talking about with these 304s, especially these attractive ones. They never tell you what they did. They always tell you things that are detrimental to the male nature. And I need you guys to understand that past 304s or current 304s always go through shit and never tell the story that they have to go through or they went through. They always talk about how disgusting or unsuitable the man is that they picked, that they chose. It just doesn't make sense to me at all. And it's a good question. XL Pro asks. He says, was she a sugar mama or was he a sugar daddy? We don't like. I don't think she was a sugar mama, man. But that's a good question. Maybe she was. Must have been a young dude. We don't know, man. We don't know, man. These 304s always got some weird stories, and they never blame themselves.
Verbally, physically,
Right.
everything down the line. He had schizophrenia. He would go and say he's gonna kill all these people
Whoa.
and leave his phone with me. Go. Wouldn't hear from him for hours till 4 o'clock in the morning. Should I call his mom? Should I not? Because this happens every fucking night.
Wow.
Will this be the time? Who knows? So I've been through a lot in my life, but it's also
Happens
taught me a
every
lot.
night, and you've
That's
been.
crazy.
Yeah.
So what's right about this relationship you're in now?
He's not abusive
Okay.
whatsoever.
Not in stuff you just named. Okay. Yeah.
I feel like we just get each other.
Right.
I feel like our personalities intertwine. And he's sweet. He's caring. He does everything for me that he can. He's just a great person overall. And I would put like personality before looks
Mhm.
over anything. Seriously, because I've been with pretty boys.
AKA, he's a simp, and he's gonna do whatever he can to please her, and he's gonna allow her to live her lifestyle, such as going on a show and expose her 304 lifestyle for the world in front of hundreds of thousands of people, and this guy has no issue with it. Not to mention, she's already dressed like a harlot, looking like a harlot, with the Wolverine eyelashes, you know, or the eyebrows, whichever you want to call it. Got the edited eyelashes, got the slut attire, and she literally said that this guy does everything for her. We know what these 304s are talking about when they say that. He's just accepting her lifestyle, okay? That's simply it.
Whatever, dude. Like,
Right.
you're cute.
Do you think
Whatever.
that the cuter a dude is, the bigger of an asshole he usually is?
Um,
That's my
I
theory
wouldn't
about women.
say I don't want to put them all in a
Right.
box, but from my experience, most of the pretty boys that I've talked to or hooked up with or whatever in general have a bigger ego.
Right. Hey, if you enjoyed this clip and you want to see more, this is our
AKA, she's done with a big ego. She's ready for somebody to let her live her damn life. Let's move on to the next video. We're gonna go to a lesser attractive woman, and I wanted to, again, like this video is called "Whole Stage Explained," and I want y'all to understand that it don't matter how good these bitches look or how bad they look or whatever they went through. I don't care if you think you got a good girl. These 304s go through whole stages day in and day out, day in and day out. Okay, and it's the same mind state as the baddies. The baddies just have a little bit more options, a little bit more leverage, but it's the same mind state, guys. Let's get right on into the next video. Before I do that, Let me read XL Pro. Comment. He says she gonna get bored with the new guy, then return to the carousel. I agree with him 100%. And he's speaking on the past female, the one on the last video.
I've tried to record this video 10 times. It just is not working out. But um as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about like my experience and like, how much I regret doing my hoe phase.
So the title is "I Regret My Whole Phase." Warning to young women out there. Okay, and we're gonna break it down a little bit. All right, guys, we're gonna break it down. As you can see, this is a woman who's below average. She is not as attractive as as you would as we would like our woman to be. But at the same time, what that says is,
And it
what that speaks to is, it doesn't matter how attractive these women are. It doesn't matter how unattractive they are today. They still go through a whole phase, and they still have the opportunities to go through that whole phase and make an excuse after they're done riding the cock carousel. All right, so we're gonna break this one down. We're gonna start from the top real quick.
I've tried to record this video 10 times. It just is not working out. But um as you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about like my experience and like, how much I regret doing my hoe phase. And it was you have to understand that like we live in such a polarizing world today, very much like purity culture, like save yourself for marriage, and then it's like be with.
Now, before Miss Piglet starts to try to break down her dumb rhetoric, um, she regrets her whole phase, but she's still trying to blame it on society. All right, let's kind of run it back and let's break it down a little bit.
And it was you have to understand that like we live in such a polarizing world today, very much like purity culture, like save yourself for marriage, and then it's like be with whoever you want as long as you're protected, like it doesn't matter who you're gonna be with. And it's just like there's just such confusing messages on both sides, and I'm trying to be the middle ground because I had to learn the hard way. I went through like such a purity culture, like 100%, like I'm saving myself for marriage, and then like, oh my gosh, be with whoever you want, and like as long as you're being protective. And it's just like two sides, like they do bring up points, but at the same time none of those sides got it right, you know what I mean? Or like to a certain extent, but you have to understand like the way that I was brought up. It was very like I'm Catholic, and I was very much a hardcore Catholic, and it's very much save yourself for marriage, like save yourself for your husband. And then like I've always thought I was going to lose my virginity to my husband, but the thing is like the way that I was growing up, I was starting to question my sexuality and the feeling to be wanted by the opposite sex. Like, I wanna like be like I want men to be attracted to me, and the feelings of like not being seen. And like now, like this was because I never got any attention in high school because I was kind of a geek. I was not even a geek, I was just ugly. But I think I'm doing better now. But it was just like those conflicting feelings, and like no one's really like no one knows what they're talking about. I didn't have any like older people guiding me through this process of like what like like teaching me like about sex and like.
Now, I want you to pay attention closely to what she just said. She said a mouthful, and I'm pretty sure she could take a mouthful. I ain't just talking about D. I'm talking about food too, because she's obese. But She said a goddamn mouthful. Nobody taught her anything about male attention, but she was Catholic. That's what her parents taught her. So if your parents taught you anything about Catholicism or religion, what it just means that you preserve yourself for your husband. All you got to do is say you wanted to have sex. Let's continue. And before we do that, I want to read a comment. IRTS TV, shout out to you. He says, it's always the same story, lack of accountability and stubborn. God damn children. Like it's the same thing over and over again. All right. Like if you wanted to do something, you wanted to do something. All right. Let's continue.
I was not even a geek. I was just ugly. But I think I'm doing better now. But it was just like, those conflicting feelings, and like no one's really like, no one knows what they're talking about. I didn't have any like older people guiding me through this process of like like teaching me like about sex and like wanting to be physical with a person, and the feelings of me wanting to be wanted and wanted, male attention, which is like, like those feelings, the feelings of being wanted, the feelings of wanting to attract, it's so, it's natural. Like I just wish that it wasn't shunned, the feelings of being horny. It's
She said all that to just let you know exactly what she wanted. She wants men to have a sexual desire for her. She was tired of not letting men give her penis. Let's run it back because that's her biggest thing. She was in her, like she just said it, guys. She was a nerd. She was ugly. That's what she felt like. She looked the same, but now that she's allowed men to give her penis, she thinks that that's the attraction that's reciprocated with righteousness, which is why she wants to meet some type of middle ground. First Timothy chapter 2 and 12, I suffer a woman not to teach, but to learn in silence. And this is why I say this all the time.
sex and like wanting to be physical with a person, and the feelings of me wanting to be wanted and wanted, male attention, which is like, like those feelings, the feelings of being wanted, the feelings of wanting to attract, it's so, it's natural. Like I just wish that it wasn't shunned, the feelings of being horny. It's like it's so natural. And like, when the way I was brought up, it was super like, don't do that, it's a sin, and like that played such a heavy role on me, because I was just like, oh my gosh, like feeling these feelings are a sin? Are you kidding me? Like I'm going to hell? It's just like very much like do or die, and like I was just like so scared of like feeling what I'm feeling because I didn't know any better. And then like I was going, then like, this was all through high school. When I finally got out of high school, I was like, trying to like find myself like where I'm at, like I was 20, like I'm 23 right now, but I was trying to like understand like, my feelings, and like I just had like no one there to guide me, no one there to help me and to understand these feelings are natural. And it's just like it's fine to feel those feelings, babe. Like it's fine. But then like I just went off the path, like, hearing social media these days, like our culture is very hyper sexualized, where it's like always about pleasure and like happiness. And like, I just thought I could, like do whatever you want. I thought like I could get like, the feelings of being wanted and being attracted by men. Like I thought I could just get it through them physically. And you have to understand, during this time, I was so naive. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I 100% my whole face because I feel like I use it as a form of self harm. Because like, I just kept on like degrading myself, where it's like you're so fat, like you're so lucky to be with this guy who even wants to be with you physically. And like, oh, these
Wait, hold on. So you tell so You're saying because you were such a hoe that attractive men wanted to have sex with you, and you call yourself lucky to be with that guy instead of understanding male nature. See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. She was ugly in high school. She decided to say, I'm going to be a hoe, which would allow her pool to be bigger, not for husbands, but for men who would just want to have sex with her. So the guys that actually do have sex with her that she might be attracted to, she feels lesser of herself because she thinks you're so lucky to be with this guy. Only because she knows in her mind he's only smashing her because she's a hoe. Which is why she connotated her video by saying she regrets her hoe stage. Do you see the delusion that she just broke down? I'll let her talk. I'll let her do what she said. I'll let her say what she say, just so y'all can understand all of these things. I started off with the bad bitch, and then I'm breaking it down with this fat bitch. They are, as both of them are delusional, they just are on different levels. The bad bitch was able to find a simp. This fat bitch is 23 and she thinks she's unlucky because she's a hoe and she's letting dudes that are suitable smash her. But in her mind, she wants to be with them, knowing she can't be with them because they only smashing her off of her whole nature. You can't make it up.
Talking about it, it's definitely, like it brings up the feelings that I had before, and I don't feel them now. But like, like 20-year-old, 21-year-old Heidi, like using sex as like a form of self harm. It's definitely like I remember her, and like she's always
So your whole stage is a form of self harm.
sex.
Your whole stage is a form of self harm. I don't get it. You let men smash you and you're still trying to victimize yourself. That don't make sense to me at all.
20-year old, 21-year-old Heidi, like using sex as like a form of self harm. It's definitely like I remember her, and like she's always with me, and it's just like that's tough, and like the way that our culture promotes like sex, it's just like it's such like it's I don't know, it's so confusing, and like it's so like not the best, and like I was going through that tough time, and like thank God I seen the way out because I started to research online about like pleasure and sex and relationships, and I just didn't understand, like what was happening, and like what the feelings I were feeling. It's like, oh, I wanted to be like I want to be wanted. I want to be loved. I want to be in a relationship. But you know what? Being physical with another person will not get me that relationship, like, and like punishing myself through sex is not going to make me any prettier. It's not going to make me feel like wanted by men, because like in reality, babe, like men will always want to like have sex with women. 100%. Even when I was looking not the best, like they still would want to be with me. And like that's the thought I had to
You said it wrong. They wouldn't want to be with you. They just wanted to smash you. Understand male nature. Okay? Understand male nature. And what she just said was absolutely 100% correct. Multitudes of women think because a man smashes her, that automatically that man wants to be with her. So they utilize their vagina or their sexuality to try to get that man to be with her. It won't happen. I don't even care if you get a baby with him. That shit is toxic, right? So, yeah, yeah.
just get wrapped in my head. It's just like, oh, like, like you think you're getting a one up on men, but really they're just getting a one up on you. You know what I mean? Like men can just be with guys if you wanted to, 100%. But that's not always the
Not guys,
greatest
girls.
case, and like I'm just trying to like teach you guys the balance, like the middle, because of course, like saving yourself for marriage, like whatever, noble, but and like being
That's my issue with them. They always shit on the traditional shit. But when they go through the whole stage, they victimize themselves. Listen to how they do it. Listen to this. Listen to Miss Piglet real quick.
that's not always the greatest case, and like I'm just trying to like teach you guys the balance, like the middle, because of course, like saving yourself for marriage, like whatever, noble, but and like being with
She hasn't told you any stories yet about her saving herself for marriage or being noble. She hasn't told you that. So for her to sit there and act like she's teaching somebody something, she needs to go on a treadmill and teach herself how to lose calories. First Timothy chapter 2 and 12 says, I suffer a woman not to teach, but to learn the silence and not usurp authority over a man. And I think she needs to uh, take that into consideration. In today's society, women think sucking penis and letting men fuck them is authority or gaining power, which is why they end up like this fat bitch, and they sit back and they wonder why men are not dealing with them in the right way. You guys are replacing virtue with fertility. I'm sorry, or virtuous nature. You are replacing that with what you're supposed to actually be doing. And I can honestly say, even this fat ass girl, if she were to do the right thing, somebody gonna wife her if she understands how to do what she needs to do. But going out and going through a whole stage and thinking there's some type of balance in between being a wife and a hoe and thinking you can teach people, like, no. And then on top of that, she's 23. She doesn't know anything that she has going on right now. It's just ridiculous how these 304s are trying to explain to you the whole stage when in fact it's just destroying their lives.
your being like sexual with anyone else, it's all like they're both not good things. And like one thing that I wish someone told me, save yourself for yourself. Like if you want to be with someone, then like make sure you really trust him, because like like I heard this quote where it's like people reduce sex to nothing more than an act now because they don't want to be intimate. And like I just feel like even at 23 I'm still trying to like figure this stuff out, and like I just want my younger audience to get a heads up there that's like it's okay to have these feelings, it's okay to be horny, it's okay to like want to feel wanted. But when you're trying to find like love somewhere else, like that's where the whole thing gets messed up, that's where the problems start to happen. So
And that's why I'm gonna let this fat bitch stop talking. I'm not gonna sit there and tell young men, young ladies, and everybody that it's just okay to be horny. It's okay to this and that. Because once you say it's okay, then you're allowing them or you are appropriating them to do their thing. And I'm speaking on the whole stage. And when we're speaking on the whole stage, we're talking about young women, young ladies. It is not okay to have a lustful nature at a young age. It's not okay to do that, all right? It's not. Appropriating the whole stage is not a good thing. It's not. Except process. She got to do well. She got to do self improvement before she deals with dudes. Right, 100%. And the thing is, XL Pro, let me put that back up. She's not realizing that she's giving horrible advice. If she were to go to the gym, slim herself down, she would have more options, and it would actually help her out in finding a man that she likes. But guess what? With her mind state, she would just be a 304. That's all she would do. It's okay to be horny and just You have sex with whoever you want to have sex with and have the desires. She wants to play the middle game. She don't want to be a wife. She don't want to be a 304. She wants to be 50% wife and 50% 304. How does that work? How does that work? How does that work? Oh, I get it. When you marry her, she acts like a wife in the first year, but then in the second and third year, now she wants to go on girls' nights out and she wants to do the 304 stuff. I guess that's the middle ground she's talking about. Guys, I'm telling you, man, the 304 cannot teach you anything when it comes to you finding a conducive wife. All right? Point blank, period. Point blank, period. That being said, we do have um, some more shows coming up, but we have reached the conclusion of this show. I do appreciate the folks that came on this show tonight. Um, uh, Follow me on Instagram at OK Let's Talk TV. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell. And I promise you guys, I promise you, Mr. OKL on a weekly basis is going to drop content, which is not only something I do just to put crap out, but I love networking. I love to make sure that the people know there's somebody out here who's conducive. I'm one of those. I'm gonna be continually doing that. Y'all make sure y'all reciprocate that energy, man. Hit me up on the ground. Hit me up on YouTube in the comments, and let me know what we can do so we can make things better for the community, for the people. That being said, again, like I said, man, on your way out, man, just do that due diligence, hit that like button, and I will be back at y'all again. So y'all listen to these tunes, listen to the beats, um, and I'm out.